top and spend a while for you. Big you up and they look down on you. Take one loss, no one's around for you. I won't stop. No, 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 no. I won't stop. I won't stop. I won't stop. No, 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 no. I won't stop. Won't stop. I'm so handsome. All in Carmine's with my Benz, I'm so fancy. No romancing. Got my baby and she right, she make you vanish. No time to play, got book dates. Had a plan, only had to wait. Always knew I'd make a way. Send a bill, they send a pay. Keep it real, keep the record straight. Keep it real, no time to fake.
Alright, cool beans. Hope you guys enjoyed that small montage. I'm Hex. I'm going to be going over my updated StamWarden build for the Scribes of Fate badge. This build actually has really good single target pressure that can actually slay pugs and actually pressure sweats while having access to a huge AoE bomb potential. And don't get me wrong, we're not sacrificing anything. We got the Meta Tankiness, Meta Sustain, and some really good damage both in single target for open worlding and bomb potential like I said earlier. But how exactly do we get this build in order? Stick around to the end and I'll show you exactly how. But before we get started, if you guys hit the subscribe and like button, really does go a long way and I greatly do appreciate it. And a quick announcement, I am gonna plan on streaming soon. But yeah, if you guys want to see me PvP live or just want to stop by and say hi, or maybe you just want to see me get zerged over and over and over again, just stop by. Also leave a comment what video I should do next. But without further ado, let's shalk our way into the build. Alright, so for the first skill we do run obviously Dip Fisher. This is obviously what sets up our burst. You know, pre-play some Shalks, but the main thing, whether you hit them with the initial hit or the resurface, you put major and minor breach, reducing their armor by almost 9k for 10 seconds, which is honestly ridiculous. Next skill we do run is Bird of Prey. This is our snare meter that just happens to grab major expedition and minor berserk while slotted, like crazy skill. Next skill we do run is Fetcher Infection. Honestly, you could run either morph, it does not matter. I prefer the mag morph because with the mag morph I can reapply this on multiple targets, because when you put the stam morph you can only put it on one target. If you go to the second target, it's gone. The first target loses it and boom. And the thing is, the AoE that it does around, it actually doesn't put minor vuln on any enemy that comes in within the range. It's only minor vuln on the initial target. Like if it was minor vuln to anyone in the area, it'd be really good, but until that happens, I stick to Fetcher Infection. But if you like the other morph, go ahead, perfectly fine. Next skill is Rending Slashes. This is our spammable. Now you might be saying, how is this a spammable? We are using an arena weapon, and I think you know what arena weapon it is. If not, stick around to the sets and I'll tell you exactly what it is. I like this morph because it puts that snare on the target. A 30% snare for 4 seconds, locks down our target and just lets us do our whole combo on them. Next skill is Whirling Blaze. This is our other spammable, or mostly a spammable slash execute. This skill is undodgeable because the player's first instinct when they CC break is to roll dodge. Next, obviously we do run the big hitter that is Dawnbreaker Smiting. Do a ridiculous amount of damage in a cone in front of us, and if they're able to tell the tail of the Dawnbreaker, well, that dot's for sure going to put them down. And on top of that, it stuns the target for 2 seconds. For our back bar we do run Lotus Blossom. Honestly, this is a ridiculously cracked skill. So this skill, you put it on, your light attacks heal you for X amount, which triple if you do a fully charged heavy. Don't care about that. The thing is, while this buff is active, you get major prophecy and savagery, increasing our weapon and spell crit by 12% for 60 seconds on both bars, and it's dirt cheap. A 60-second ability. This is beautiful. This is how we get our crit for both bars, so we can run any pot we want. And obviously we do run Ice Fortress. This is basically our armor buff that also happens to grant minor protection. Next, obviously, Resolving Vigor. I mean, come on. This is our burst hot, heal out over 5 seconds, and grants us minor resolve. So next we do run the Netch. You could run either morph. Honestly, I tried the Blue Betty Netch for this build. Honestly, I might switch back to the Stam morph. So honestly, I would recommend trying the Stam morph. The Mag morph was okay, but honestly, I felt like the Stam might be a little bit better. Next we do run is Polar Wind. This is our, I guess you could say, burst heal with a hot. I prefer Polar Wind because of that nice hot. I love hots. You know me and you know that I love hots. Being able to stay alive. The other thing is the other morph is really good, but it won't heal you as much in my opinion. The thing is, you do put a dot around you and you stun the target, which is really good for, you know, taking pressure off yourself. So you could run either morph. I prefer Polar Wind. It's just really good for survivability, and also you can heal an ally, which is really nice. And for our back bar, we do run Northern Storm. You could run either morph, it does not matter. I swap between the both, to be honest. The main reason we slot this is because Wardens do have a little passive in the Winter's Embrace called Frozen Armor. For having that ability slotted, we get almost 1000 physical and spell resist. Alright, but enough of that. Let's go over the stat sheets. So let's look at our stat sheets. Max mag over 15k, max health over 33k. This actually can go up to 34k if you do run over Zopka More Bear Hunch. And our max damage is over 22k. Now our recov is fully buffed. That mag recov over 2k, and our stam recov is almost just shy of 2200. Wow. Our weapon and spell damage is shy of 5k. Might look a little low, but you have to realize we are heavily spec'd into Bloodthirsty on this build. And our spell crit is at 36.6%. That's some really good crit, and our penetration is just shy of 5k. This actually can go up since we do have access to Major Breach and Minor Breach, which is basically almost 9k extra penetration on the target. Now our resist on our back bar real quick. Spell resist over 30k, and our physical resist over 29.4k. And our crit resist is at 2082. Now for the attributes, typical 24 points in health and 40 points in the stam. If you do want some more extra health, you could bump this up a little bit more. For the food, we are running Jewels of Mistral, saying that Jewels of Mistral is perfectly fine, but obviously if you got Deep Pocket or don't mind spending a little extra, or Zopka Smoked Bear Haunch. For the Mundus, we run the Thief. You know me and you know that I love crit. Upping our chance, like getting an extra 6% chance to do over 50% bonus damage and over 50% healing on a build is just insane, because when you're critting your whole combo, you are absolutely deleting health bars. But if you are feeling like you are having more sustain issues, you could run the Serpent or even the Atro. But if you're saying, no, I want damage, then go ahead and slot that Shadow. And obviously we are a stage 3 vampire for one simple passive, Undeath. The lower health we are, the tankier we become. And for my race, I am an Imperial. Imperial, in my opinion, is hands down the best open world stam race for PvP. Tough increases our max health by 2k, the most max health you can get from a racial passive. Imperial Meta increases our max stam by 2k. And the most defining them all, Red Diamond reduces the cost of all our abilities by 6%. That includes Magicka, Stamina, Health, even Ultimates. And for those that don't know, this actually affects your core combat skills. That includes Roll Dodge, CC Break, and blocking all cost 6% less. This is basically almost negating the debuff of Vampire cost increase. Some great alternatives. Nord could be okay. Wood Elf could actually be really good on this build. Khajiit could be really good. We do have high crit. Dark Elf could be okay, or could be really good actually. Anything else I'd kind of stay away from, to be honest. Alright, but enough of that. Let's go over the sets now. Alright, so for the first set we do run good old Wretched Vitality. I mean, Wretched Vitality is basically a staple on all my stand buffs, especially on Warden. What makes Wretched Vitality so powerful is that it gives you 390 base Magicka and Stamina recovery. That is base. What I mean by that is you can increase that by an extra 30% from your pots, 15% from minors, 20% from continuous attacks, light and medium armor packs. You see, there's so many ways to buff that up that you can easily get this set to like 560 after all modifiers. Like, it's a ridiculous set. But the two main selling points, it's back barrable and it lets us go full offensive on our jewelry. If you have not tried Wretched Vitality, just try it once and trust me, you will never go back. So for the monster set we do run good old Balorgs. I tried Bloodspawn on this build. Don't get me wrong, Bloodspawn was good, but like honestly on a StamWarden with Donnie and Shalks, you kind of just have to run Balorgs. It's mandatory to get the pops. Getting more weapon and spell damage and penetration anytime we drop our ultimates, up to a maximum of 500 weapon and spell damage and over 11k penetration at 500 Balorgs. And it's just really good for the pops. Works really well with our next set, which is good old Plague Break. Plague Break, honestly, with Balorgs is a perfect synergy. I mean, the 2 to 4 piece on Plague Break is amazing. Offense pen, 2 lines of weapon and spell damage, beautiful. Putting a DoT on a target that puts the disease status effect, which always puts minor defile on the target, really good. But the main thing is when they purify or if they die before the effect ends, they explode, dealing damage to everyone around them and spreads the plague and does up to 50% bonus damage per enemy hit, and it can just chain react out of control. Like, this thing is amazing. It just synergizes very well with the high damage of Balorgs, and when you see that fat second going for the Shalks Donnie spin to win combo, just beautiful feeling. This is more for an open world build, but if you are looking more for like a 1v1 build or more for like a single target build, then you should run Way of the Fire. Way of the Fire is really good alternative. This is more single target, but if you're going for the big pops, you know, just 1vxing, open worlding, Plague Break was amazing. So no trainee or mythic on this build. Instead, we do run an arena weapon, or weapons, I guess you should say again. And that is, I think we all know what it is, the Master's Perfected Dual Wield. Obviously non-perfected, perfectly fine. The only thing that perfected does is on this, for the Master's Dual Wield, increases our weapon and spell crit by 2.5%. That's it. For both, whether perfected or non-perfected, the main thing is Twin Slashes deals 1635 more damage for each hit of the initial attack and bleed. For those that don't know, when you do Rending Slashes, you actually hit the target with 2 weapons. So you're actually double proccing this, doing over 3300 damage on the initial hit, and then 1635 on the bleed tick. And this thing can actually start chunking people. What I like about this is that it was really good for single target, because I didn't want to make it all out just AoE bomb, you get caught up by someone that's built for one. No, I wanted to be able to hit a staff and also hold myself out in a 1v1 or 1v2. And honestly, this was just perfect. And the perfected version giving me that extra crit, can't say no to that. So the way we do run it, so we do run a Master's Perfected Dagger and Mace. Obviously non-perfected, perfectly fine. So on this build, I felt like 1 dagger and 1 mace was perfect. So we do run 1 dagger, you know me and you know that I love crit, and 1 mace, because in PvP penetration is king. So on the main hand, we do have a fire damage enchant with Nirnhund. Please, on the main hand, make it Nirnhund, it makes a difference. The reason we do run a fire enchant is because it can proc the burning status effect, which is a really nice dot. And on the offhand, we run the poison damage enchant, which can proc poison, which is another hard hitting dot. You can see, you rending someone and you have all these dots taken on them and people get melted. And we do run charge on this build, so that way when we hit them with our enchants or any abilities, we're more than likely going to hit them with the status effect and just keep taking them down. For the back bar, we do run a restoration staff of Wretched Vitality. You know me and you know that I love restos. If you want, you could run an ice staff or a sorter board, but I highly recommend a resto. The reason resto is so good in my opinion, I mean, let's just look at those beautiful passives. Being able to get access to on-demand major mending for 4 seconds, increases our healing done by 16%. Our fully charged heavy attacks restore 30% more mag. But the main slept on one is Restoration Expert. Increases your healing done by 15% on allies under 30%. That includes yourself. So under 30% health, you are increasing your healing by an extra 15%. So if you have a major mending and this, that's over 30% extra healing you're getting on yourself, which is honestly insane. So for the body, we do run the typical 3-3-1, 3 heavy, 3 medium, 1 light. So we do run a heavy Balor's head, heavy chest of the Wretched Vitality, heavy shoulders of Balor's, a light sash of Wretched Vitality, medium hands, legs, and feet of Plague Break. For the enchants, if you can, trash out all the pieces. If you can't do that, trash out the big pieces. What I mean by that is head, chest, and leg. But if you can't do that, max damage is perfectly fine. Just adjust your health attributes at the end. And for the traits, 6 M-Pen, 1 Reinforced. Yes, 6 M-Pen, 1 Reinforced. The only Reinforced I have is a heavy chest of Wretched Vitality Reinforced. And the rest M-Pen. And for the jewelry, we do run a Plague Break neck and ring. And for my last ring, I do run a ring of Wretched Vitality. So the way we do run it, so on this build, we do have 2 Bloodthirsty with 1 Infuse, all with weapon and spell damage enchants that preferably grant Stam Recup. But obviously, if you have some or all with Mag Recup, it wouldn't make or break the build. To be honest, I even have a mixture of them all. It doesn't really make a difference. But yeah, honestly, I felt like 2 Bloodthirsty was perfect, and then 1 Infuse just to do that upfront damage. And when they're really low on health, Bloodthirsty just starts ramping, and then it hits really, really hard. If you are going for more open world, not really going for pops, then I recommend full Bloodthirsty. But if you're going strictly for pops, then I'd probably go all Infuse. But if you're trying to do a mixture of both, I feel like this was perfect. And for the food we do run good old Jewels of Mithril. Gives a lot of max health and recup of everything. But obviously if you got Deep Pocket or don't mind spending a little extra, or Zaka Smoke Bear Haunch, gives you about 400 more max health, and I mean slight more recup. And for the pots we do run, just good old tripods. Gives us a burst and recup of everything. You can either craft them yourself or you can just run the crown tripods. They do the exact same thing. Alright, but enough of that, let's go over the CP now. So for the blue CP, we do run Fighting Finesse, increases critical damage, critical healing. Focus Mending, increases our healing done with single target heals. Ironclad, reduces our damage taken from direct damage attacks. And the last one is what I would consider your flex. If you are going for more AoE pops, then go Master at Arms. But if you're going more for a single target or more, open world type of build, then I would strongly recommend Deadly Aim. That way your dots just absolutely chunk people. And for the red CP, typical seal of approval red hex CP. Celerity increases our movement speed by up to 10%. Honestly, in my opinion, the best CP in the entire game. Survival instincts, while if there's a status effect, your core combat skills cost up to 25% less. Relentlessness, being stunned or fear causes you to gain major protection for 3 seconds. And Pain's Refuge. The more negative effects we have acted on us, the tankier we become. And for the green CP, that doesn't ever really matter. Rationer, Liquid Efficiency, Gifted Rider, and Steed's Blessing. But alright, cool beans, that's the build. Hope you guys did enjoy it. StamWarden honestly just feels fun. Like, it's very fun. You use a lot of StamWarden. You use a lot of Warden skills, which is really good. The only thing I wish is that the heals would be a little bit better. But for those that are still sticking around to the end of the video, I greatly do appreciate it. If you guys could, just hit that subscribe and like button. It really does go a long way, and I greatly do appreciate it. I am actually considering just starting streaming. And at this point, there's no excuse. Before, it was very bad because the servers would be so laggy. You could only PvP in the morning or late night, and it was terrible. Now, you can PvP any time of the day, and there's like almost no lag, which is amazing, at least for Xbox NA. But yeah, if you guys want to see me PvP live, or just want to stop by and say hi, if you want to see me get zerged over and over again, just feel free to stop by. I'll greatly appreciate your company. But as always, hope you guys did enjoy the build video. Like the video if you liked it. Comment your thoughts or experience with the build. Also, anything I might have missed out, what video I should do next. Subscribe for more. But most importantly, stay zerging.